We're going live in five. Live in five. Going live in five, four. If I just use headphones. Why do I'm on LinkedIn? Right now I'm on LinkedIn. And okay.
No, I'm in leaving. I'm in leaving.
Switching to second camera.
Okay. Oh, here's the. You gotta put it on LinkedIn. It's on your profile on LinkedIn.
Right. As you can hear, the clock is striking 11 and we're ready to go. So, welcome and thank you for joining me on my very first, well, not so true. Yesterday, I was testing um, the situation and actually went live unwittingly. So you will see on my profile some truncated live sessions where I had to go back and edit and delete because, but anyway, I'm here and thank you very much for joining. I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and this is my very first genuine LinkedIn live session. And we want to be with you consistently going forward. So today, I want to look at the issue of non-critical thinking and to look at one of the pitfalls. And the rationale behind that is that fact-based discourse is actually seemingly a thing of the past. So basically what happens for as news and as discourse now is that we just have our talking points and we just go at it, and nobody leaves with a changed position. No behaviors are changed. We just actually just go use it as a platform for making our points clear, and the other party does the same, and nothing changes. So one of the bases on which that is done is that you use non-critical thinking methods because people are not thinking critically anymore. So they just basically accept information coming in. But we want to stop that. So this live cast specifically highlights one fallacy with respect to non-critical thinking, how they get past you, get past your defenses and get their point across. We want to look at that. And it's important because we have this deluge of information coming in. And unfortunately, a lot of it is ill-informed and some of it is deliberately either disinformation or misinformation where people skillfully develop the capacity to get information across in a way that people unsuspectingly accept it. So if you would permit me, I like to think out of the box and look at things from a different perspective. And I want to stretch an analogy, if you will, from Excel, if you give me that liberty. So those of you who have used Excel would have found yourself in a situation where you set up a formula and Excel screams at you and say, hey, stop, 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 stop. Circular reference, because the answer you are seeking is in the formula. And so therefore, it doesn't make sense. So for example, you could have 5 items coming down, and then in item 6 you want in item 6 you in line 6 you want the response, but you include that in the sum, so you actually are summing this solution. So how does that work? In essence, what you would be saying is that this weighting would actually be equal to all the other lines. It doesn't make sense. So let me move from LinkedIn. I just wanted to give you that because I'm from Excel, because you would have gone through that yourself, right? Where hopefully you have seen that in, or maybe you were so bright that you never ever had a formula with circular reasoning references. So politician, let us use, since a lot of the um, non-critical thinking is coming in the political domain. So let us use an analogy from politics. So we are there with the mayor at a market, and he says, "Friends, I want to share with you. I want to make a case for building a new market here. You know, I'm going to give you a point by point reasons why for your consideration. So I just want to go through point by point. Number one, this market is old and in disrepair. Number two, the market is too small to accommodate all the vendors. Number three, the market provides employment for people, and we could be employing more people. And friends, of even greater importance, I'm telling you, we need to build a new market." Huh? Okay. So cheers, of course, chance. Hey, new market, new market, new market. So the most important reason why we need to build a new market is that we need to build a new market. Yeah, we sure. All right. So that's what passes by and goes on all the time. And what we call that is circular reasoning. Circular reasoning, where we actually start with where we want to end with and end with where we wanted to start with. So let us look at it. The definition of circular reasoning is really a logical fallacy where the reasoner begins with what they are trying to end with. So I'm going to, make a point and prove it by making the point. It's kind of crazy, but people get away with it. So, for example, 18-year-olds, I'm telling you, 18-year-olds have the right to vote because it's legal for them to vote. Yes. You don't believe it? I'm telling you that 18-year-olds have the right to vote. Why? Because it's legal for them to vote. Ooh. So there it is. We go right back. When you ask for evidence, we go right back to the original statement. That's circular reasoning. Just listen to speeches, and maybe you even catch yourself doing the same thing. That the thing that I'm trying to prove, when you ask me for evidence, I restate the things maybe in other words. Yeah. So those are nice things. I have actually posted in my newsletter today. If you could look at it, you would see a more a fulsome analysis of circular reasoning. So please check my newsletter today if you're not already signed up. Productivity enhancement tips is there. I'm also throwing out right here now an invitation to join my LinkedIn group where we are actually leadership DNA group. So on LinkedIn, there is a membership site where a lot of this information is stored. So how do you stop this circular argument? The best way really is to seek genuine evidence, right? So ask for more evidence. So for example, let us go back to the mayor. And if you are in the opposition, you can put your hand up and say, "Mr. Mayor, have you done any sort of analysis as to how many vendors are waitlisted or displaced, or who would want a space in this market? Have you statistics on that, Mr. Mayor?" Get some more information. because surely the most important reason can't be that we need to build a new market. Then you could ask Mr. Mayor about whether he has done a cost benefit analysis. Have you actually um, done an analysis to see whether refurbishing the existing market would be more effective? Maybe expanding it as against building a new market. Have you done any of this kind of work, Mr. Mayor? That is how you burst the bubble or stop um, this circular reasoning from going on. And if you find yourself in that rut, seek additional information. Look for genuine evidence. And evidence means more factual information, right? So that's where we are. Um, so one of the considerations then is that as we watch the news, as we listen, as we read, as we participate in discussions in our organizations or even in our homes, see if we can get to a place where evidence becomes more important or becomes important again. See if we can get to a place where we are willing to change our minds. Delicate, maybe stepping on corns here. See if we can get to a place where we are willing to change our minds on the basis of evidence. So we come in clear in our minds that we do not need a market or that we do need a market. But based on unfolding evidence, we are willing to say, hey, I am persuaded. Have a mindset, and encourage your colleagues and encourage your family members to have a mindset to be willing to accept evidence. Accept evidence. And that's the way to correct this challenge that we are having with respect to false information, fake news. Now, there are a number of others, and maybe, in some of the subsequent live casts, I'll share. But some of the common pitfalls include putting up straw men, attacking the person, leaving out critical facts, overgeneralizing, oversimplifying, red herrings, emotional manipulation. All of those things are now being used, and because it has caught on, and because of social media and the ease with which people are copying it. So before, you had manipulators who studied these things and would be able to actually put out the news in a way that would mislead you deliberately, successfully. Because now we can just repost and tweak a little bit and send out. We have a real crisis because it's difficult for the untrained mind to really be able to pick out these things. And so that's why we have a challenge of being able to discern what is factual and what is not. We have a real problem with news because now the traditional approach, or what is seemingly a growing approach, is to say, all of it is lie. It's just fake news out there. So what we do is that we draw ourselves into a little corner and we're saying, I trust this source, and whatever comes from that source is true. That's the crisis. So we do not bring critical thinking into to the fore because we actually trust a particular source, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous. So I want to put a plea. I'm an evangelist for change, and so sometimes I really want to put people when we present information, we want to really see some modification, and so I want to put out a plea. I want to ask first of all that if you are hearing me live now or in a rebroadcast, that you be willing to be persuaded by evidence. That's the first thing. I hear you. I know all you, you might have deep-seated um, beliefs and grounds, and you're really loyal, and all sorts of different factors which might, you know, want you to hold on to a particular set of thoughts. I'm gonna just ask you though to be willing, to be persuaded by evidence. That's it. That's the first thing. I would also ask that you step back from falling prey to circular reasoning or any of the other non critical pitfalls. Be alert, be alert. A lot of information. I can just send out, this is me, I'm sending out information. All of this could be just bunkum. Are you asking me, where is this coming from? Is there such a thing as, you know, circular reasoning? Where does Trevor Smith get this thing from? Find out, test it, do some examples. Don't just walk away and say, okay, there's this guy, he sounded convincing, no, challenge me. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to, no matter how how much trust you have, how loyal and true, whatever it is, this source has been, just ask yourself some questions as you listen. And I'm going to ask you to do a little bit more, push the envelope a little bit, that you be proactive in being an advocate for critical thinking. That's what I'm suggesting here. That's what I will love out of this little time that we have spent together. I don't want these things to be too long, so that when I'm inviting you, you are saying, this is going to go on forever. So I want to ideally stay. I don't know. I mean, I should ask a little quiz now if you can give some feedback as to it's like a 20-minute, 15, 20 minutes. All right. I've seen live casts that go for an hour. I'm not sure. Maybe for special occasions, I'd want to do that. But I just want to just jump in, maybe at 11 on a Friday. Maybe a bit another day will be good for you. And just be with you for 15, 20 minutes. Share some insights and have you think. That's the best that I can do. Have you think. Now, let me just say something. Obviously, I'm going to, I also want to share some possibilities for you. So, this series, critical thinking, is actually part, as you can see on the screen, it's part of a program as to how to improve your critical thinking, influence, and impact. And the idea behind that program is to help individuals to step to the next level. So these are going to be already successful people, but there is something that could be done to take them to another level of performance. And that program actually is structured around one, we do a behavioral DNA analysis that granularly we look at you from the assessment. And I have been doing this for a couple of decades now. So I will go into it and I will look and I will say, hey, Trevor, were you aware of this? Or were you aware of that? So we identify blind spots, we identify limiting factors, and guide you, put you on a path. There was a very exciting one that I shared. If you again look at the newsletters, you will see a case where we did the assessment and really unlocked a major breakthrough for one of my coaches. So that's for part of the program. And then there is a interactive online course on how to increase your influence and impact. And boom, a powerful gamified critical thinking course. And in that, you will also have after the 6 weeks coaching, email, voicemail coaching. You will be in a learning community with like-minded persons for a year. So that's it. We will be opening gates on March 7, and registration will be there. I want to thank you for being with us today. Want to remind you that you can, in fact, join us, Leadership DNA Club. Just send a note that you want to join, and we will invite you in. Um, Also, there is a newsletter, Productivity Enhancement Tips, comes out every Friday. You can look out for it. And now, brand new, my live cast on LinkedIn. Thanks. Have a great weekend. All the best.